Hi, everybody. I'm George, and I'm here with it's essentially now a friend of mine, John. We've worked together so many years and so many different types of clients. John is an attorney that is barred in New York State, but I'm sure he can get into the details. I don't want to waste any more time. We have a lot of great topics to speak about, and one of the things that we talked about before we got on the call is how attorneys, clients, and accountants often disagree on how to handle structuring and accounting for startups. So let's jump right in, John. Take over.
Yeah, so I'm John Benemerito. I'm the managing partner of Benemerito Attorneys at Law. I am licensed in New York and New Jersey, but I represent clients all over the world. I'm a transactional attorney that works primarily with startup companies. So that's the reason I'm able to do that, because most of my clients are formed in Delaware anyway. So it doesn't really matter where they are in the world. We represent them and get it done. And yes, when it comes to startups, it definitely does not agree with tax law at all. So a good example is that every startup needs to be a Delaware C Corp, and that is a nightmare from a tax perspective because it would make more sense to be an LLC for tax advantages, or an S corporation. You just don't have those benefits, if you want to call them that, in the startup world. So that's one of the problems we have with the accountants, that you guys are always giving advice to clients. It's like, well, my CPA said this. I'm like, yeah, well, your CPA didn't realize you were a startup. You're not just like a deli or something like that. So that's usually the fun part.
Exactly. And this is one thing that, fortunately, we do work with a lot of startups. Your typical CPA, and we give this advice for people that are a deli, John, like, or somebody that is starting essentially a business that's going to be making money now and is going to be located only within that state. So if I say, look, if you're a startup and you're going to be looking for seed capital, you're going to be looking for angel investors, or you're going to be losing money for a certain period of time until you ramp up, if you're going to be in stealth mode, whatever the case may be, you need to be a Delaware C Corp, because that's exactly what your investors and what private equity companies are going to look for in your structure.
Yeah, it depends. It depends heavily on like what the person is doing, right? Like there's a million ways to like skin this cat. Like there are some people that raise money from non-sophisticated investors. And yeah, you could be a sole prop at that point because they don't know any better. You know what I mean? So it really just depends on the level of who you're dealing with in that regard. Because but if you're gonna be like typical startup that wants to be the next Facebook and get institutional money, yeah, you have to be a Delaware C Corp, damn the tax law, and that's it. And also what's funny is that like I always feel that this whole like tax consequence of a C corp is like a theory versus practice, right? So like yeah, in theory, corporations are double taxed, right? But in practice, corporations, startups at least, almost never issue dividends. So that second tax never really comes in because corporation makes its money, issues payroll to everybody, and you're subject to regular payroll taxes. So that whole like double taxation, that only applies in the scenario where like you're getting your dividends and then you would get the tax at the shareholder level. Because people always come in freaking out. It's like double tax, double tax. I'm like, dude, you are 10 years away from that problem. It's not even funny. Don't worry about it. It's not even an issue right now. May never be.
It, exactly. It may never be, and they may exit before then. So that's a good point.
Exactly. Like
Another
I have
thing that I
clients that
see.
make yeah, I have clients that make millions of dollars a year and they still haven't issued a dividend. It's just not common. They're constantly reinvesting the money back into the company. So it's just one of those things that like they Googled it, they read it, and now they're scared about it, but it's actually not a real thing.
Exactly, and the tax rate is lower than S corps, as long as the money is staying within that entity.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, so that's that. I mean, you want to talk about how much taxes suck, dude? I don't know. You want to talk about it's a lot of stuff to cover.
So I know that we spoke last year, and you mentioned some kind of services that you were doing for certain clients that you had that needed a little bit more than just entity structuring, and you were bouncing around some ideas. I know you had a pretty interesting kind of service that you were offering your clients.
Yeah.
Are you
So
still
we
doing that?
Well, we changed the model recently. So there was a point in time where we were focusing a lot on crowdfunding. And the thing with crowdfunding and like one of the problems with it because of the laws is that at a certain point, crowdfunding requires like audited financials. But if you're a startup, like what are you really auditing? And they're like audited financials is George would say is very expensive. But like how do you audit a company that doesn't really have any books? So it's actually kind of like a the crowdfunding laws are kind of annoying in that regard with the level of financial disclosures they require because startups don't have any financial history to really give the disclosures necessary. So it's like a law that's would make sense if the company had a lot going on, but the people that are doing crowdfunding don't really do it. So we've shifted a lot since, and now we just we more connect clients with our investors in our warm network, and we do more like Regulation D angel VC financing than we do crowdfunding. I kind of got away from the crowdfunding model for that reason mainly because of that reason, because the tax consequences were kind of annoying.
What about on Regulation D or 144A or any of these other ways to raise money that may avoid a lot of the SEC scrutiny? Have you noticed that some of these require audited financials or require the client to jump through hoops?
No, so the only time audited financials are required is when you're dealing with non-sophisticated, non-accredited investors. So for example, and this is like a law that I hate, under Regulation D 506B, there's this carve out that everyone knows about, but they don't understand how it works. It's this 35 non-accredited investor law. And 506B says that you could raise money from 35 non-accredited investors. What it doesn't say is that you need to prepare a prospectus as detailed as if you were going public, audited financials, and all this other stuff, which would cost you probably $50,000 just to prepare the legal and tax paperwork necessary. That would severely outweigh the couple $1,000s those 35 people would ever give you. So, like, I hate that the SEC has that rule because it doesn't explain anything after it. It just says it without any of the explanation to it. So, that's the only annoying thing. But under typical standard things, when you're ready raising from accredited investors, the SEC sees those people as sophisticated and able to assess and understand the risk. So you don't need audited financials. You only need audited financials. Well, for that 35 non-accredited investor carve out, Reg A and Reg CF. That would be the only times you need it when you're dealing with non-accredited investors.
Have you seen that regulations are loosening? Because I know I work with some clients that were bouncing around possible PCAOB registration for going public. And there was some talk about with the current political administration that they may do away with the PCAOB entirely and fold that into the SEC. Do you know
I
anything
mean,
about that?
I know the new administration was trying to alleviate some of the crypto things, but they nothing's happened yet. And honestly, when it comes to crypto, like we're still dealing with regular paper laws. Like everything that applies to crypto is just taking stock law from 40 years ago and applying it and just using your legal knowledge and how it applies. Basically, that's how it works.
Exactly. That's what we're seeing on the tax side too, with some small exceptions. So, but the what kind of in terms of international? I know that you and I had some mutual clients years ago that were doing things internationally. What do you have any updates on that or anything exciting to share on that front?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of the guys that were doing international, they were trying to go under Regulation S to raise money from offshore investors. I mean, but outside the crypto guys, not a lot of people are very successful with that. It's just kind of difficult from like a marketing standpoint. Like if you don't have contacts in those territories, it's very hard to like get investors. So very few guys were ever able to succeed in that just because it's very difficult to contact investors offshore. But there is an exception called Regulation S where you could raise money as long as it's an offshore transaction and not a US person. So that's basically what people were trying to do, mainly in the crypto space, and some were successful, but most weren't successful.
Got it. What's now? I know that you're typically working with startups. What happens when some of your clients start to become real companies, for lack of a, they're no
Yeah, I
longer a
mean
startup now? What do they graduate to?
that's when the fun starts, right? Well, that's when we get to charge them more money, obviously, and we finally get to make some money. Yay for us! No, it really just depends because then it becomes like a full on day to day general counsel. So like in the beginning, it's here and there, but then there's some clients we literally talk to every day, and that's when they've because they're always hiring someone, firing someone, entering into another contract, something going on. So there's this constant like need for legal and ongoing support. Usually once you raise money, you're raising money every 6 to 18 months. So you're consistently raising money. You're just trying to break through the next 6 to 18 months until there's an exit or acquisition or going public, which no one does. But that's basically the life cycle and how it works. So if you get through your first few rounds and you make it to and past Series A, then you're usually like doing well. I would say that like once you make it to Series A, you're probably a real company because especially at that point, when you do a Series A, you've taken on investors who will likely now have board seats, and these are like the investors in your space. So the company really starts like moving with intention and how it works.
Wow, wow, wow. What are some and I know obviously you have quite a few confidentiality um um laws that you have to keep in mind, but what are some interesting stories that you have?
I mean, interesting stories. I mean, well, I have crazy stories. I have like people that like sold 20% of their company for $20,000. See, the thing about the startup space, it's funny. It's not like anyone who comes here from anywhere, it's just like so different. Like if you're a corporate lawyer, you're not the startup lawyer. Like we put the square peg in the round hole every day. We're constantly working in like the gray. Nothing's black and white. Your client does stuff on their own and then comes to you 3 weeks after the fact for you to fix it. So like there is nothing that's ever normal in this job. The house is always on fire and there's never enough water. That's basically the best way I could describe working with startups. It's just literally the Wild West. These people are just doing the craziest stuff, making the worst deals, and just everything's fueled by emotion. Nothing is logical at all. That's basically how I could describe most of my client base. Very emotionally driven, very just like tight on budgets, trying to get things done at 110 miles an hour because we're always racing against the clock. That's pretty much how they go.
What you mentioned is that you're not seeing too many companies go public. Why do you think that is?
I mean, well, first of all, most for the majority of it, I never understood why. Most founders, their goal is always to sell. Like they just want to build something and get out. They don't actually care about staying on, and there's very few. And then even the ones that do, I mean, only the biggest people, like the unless you're going to be the next Google or Meta, like you're just going to get bought by them. You know what I mean? Like you're just going to be enough of a pain. Like take Instagram for example, right? Like Instagram, as great as Instagram is, Meta bought them out. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be the biggest fish in the pond that's just going to gobble you up. They're not going to let you become a public company. You know what I mean? They're just going to buy you out. Like there was an app a while ago. It was called was for the city. I think it was called Hopstop. You might remember that. Remember like the one that tracked the trains, right? So like basically it was doing really well. I think it was called Hopstop. And when Google wanted to add that feature to their site, they just bought them out and that was it. So that's my point. Like unless you're going to become the Google or Meta of your industry, which you're probably not, they're just going to buy you when you become a big enough pain in the ass. And that's pretty much it. So the goal of a startup is not to go public. It's to become a big enough pain in the ass to get your 100 million to $1 billion check. That's pretty much what everyone's chasing. No, I don't think there's very few people that even have the capability of becoming the bigger fish in the pond. It just doesn't work that way. Like there's always the huge guys and they buy out the smaller guys. And that's pretty much just how it works.
Do you ever have clients that give you shares of their company in
So
exchange
I
for
have
work, or do
so
you?
this is like a funny thing. I have had clients that have given me shares, and I've had some shares for like 10 years, and that has made me $0 in 10 years. So what I find funny is that because I do calls every day with new clients, and people are always offering equity, right? And like, oh, I'll give you equity, and I won't pay you. I'll give you equity. It's like, don't you believe in me? It's like, listen, it's whether I believe in you or not. I have bills, I have a team, I have people I have to pay. You know what I mean? Like their landlords don't take equity. They're just not really going to take an equity check for their rent and stuff like that. And like people like get offended and they don't understand. It's like, oh, you don't believe me. It's like it's not about belief. Like if I was a solo practitioner and I had no bills and I could just be like, yeah, I'll just take, well, I would own 1,000 companies today and stuff like that. Like people have given me equity before. A lot of people have given me equity and it failed. But yeah, it's pretty much crazy how it works.
Right. So that's interesting. So in 10 years, you've never had any of the equity grants actually materialize.
No, because those companies are still active and they haven't exited yet. You know what I mean? Like they're still going and I mean whenever they if they ever sell, yeah, but also 9.9 out of 10 startups fail, so a lot of the other ones I got equity for, they don't even exist anymore. You know what I mean? So like it's just you're playing a very small numbers game here, you know what I mean? Like it's like this amount of companies will make it. The ones that do make it will last. The ones that last will get acquired. Like it's like the number keeps getting smaller every step of the way.
I remember I don't remember if it was the crypto run up that happened in 2017. Remember
2017,
how crypto worked? Yeah.
well,
Remember
the
how crypto
SEC
worked?
dropped
Like there was, yeah.
SEC dropped the Dow memo in July of 2017, and everyone lost their minds and ran to us about what they wanted to do because then it got serious for them. Before 2017, people were just messing around behind the scenes, but when the SEC dropped the Dow memo in July, everyone freaked out, came to the surface, and started doing it legitimately. That's why it had such a big pump in 2017 because of that memo.
Tell me a little bit more about that. I don't know about that level of detail.
Yeah, so the SEC in 2017 it basically announced that they were the Dow case that they were starting to look at crypto and like it was on their radar and that they were going to start making enforcements because before that I guess they just didn't really like no case had come up before that. So then people were like, "Oh shit, they're paying attention now, so now we got to do it right, right?" So basically that's where we got involved and I've been heavily involved ever since 2017. So every time you wanted to launch like an ICO, an STO, a DAO, the metaverse, all that stuff, now it has to be within the SEC guidelines, usually Reg D and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you jumped right in crypto in 2017, and it's been something
Yeah,
that
I jumped right
you.
in. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just figured it out. I'm basically how my entire practice was built. I just figured it out, and I'm here. I am today, 10 years later. So, all good.
I think that I think that a lot of practices are like that. I think that you and I have a lot in common when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, like you also have to have the lack of a terrorist and like the balls to do something like that. Like just like get into something and just run with it. Like this is my first legal job. Like I because I always own my own businesses, so I never even got to work as a lawyer in law school. So my first legal job was my law firm. Like and I started it the day I was so like I was licensed on July 13th, 2015, and that day I started the firm. Like I started the firm within 30 minutes of getting my license. So like it was a very like, all right, let's just figure this out and that's it. And we'll get it done. That's the end of it. So it's fun stuff.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because, we do a lot of tax compliance. I'd say 60% of my company is tax compliance, and the rest is planning and strategy and helping people proactively save. But I'd say 60% is, actually just doing the compliance. And I said many, many years ago when I started the business, I spoke with a good friend of mine that also had a small CPA firm. And she said, you know what? I don't know. And I actually suspect nobody really knows. And then a few days later, she called me back and she said, I spoke with a CPA that's been doing this 35 years. He didn't know either. So we're just kind of, it's like we're both
Yeah.
kind of new.
I
And
know
we're like, I think we
you
have to
guys are
figure it
like
out.
doctors. You just make guesses. Like it could be this. Let's see how this goes, and that's it. I mean the IRS code is like decade. It's so long. I don't know how I need to know anything. Like it's like insane. I mean, my CPA is my mentor. He's like 71 years old. Like that guy's father time with taxes. He's good. Those are the guys like you swallow up. But like he's great. Like he's been doing this since like the Stone Age. So I like those guys, and that's it. Works really well. I was like, I want a guy that looks really, really like old and seasoned, and that's my tax guy right there. I'm sure you're amazing too,
We've
George.
had
You're a young guy, but yeah.
So we've actually had people come into the office many years ago when we had the Manhattan office, that we were fully staffed all the time. Now it's like, by appointment only.
Everyone's
Um,
remote. Yeah, I know.
yeah, we've had people walk in and look around and say, "You guys are too young. I can't hire you." Like
Yeah, I think so.
almost
That's the thing
verbatim.
with
That
the thing with tax professionals is like I think everyone just expects you guys to just be like old. Like that's and like for the most part, most CPAs are really old. And like so for example, one of my employees, like she lives in Florida and like she got a tax guy and like he was like a young guy. He's kind of like you. And I looked at the website, but he's partners with his dad, and his dad is like 75 and he still works there. You know what I mean? So I think his dad lends him the credibility like that he needs to like be the tax guy and stuff like that because nobody's going to junior when they're like, oh, the senior, he knows his shit. Like, yeah, when you do your taxes, you want a guy that looks like he wrote the code and you're like, this guy's he's gonna hook me up. He's gonna save me the most money. This young kid, he don't know how to save me any money. I'll be paying triple. And that's it. I think that's what it
it
comes
doesn't
down to.
work like that with attorneys. I mean, you guys have the best
It does and it
reputation.
doesn't. It does and it doesn't. I mean, I've been doing this over 10 years now, so I've earned my credibility and also I have a lot of like what I've done. I have like case studies. I've raised over $1 billion for companies. Like that's just but yeah, when I was starting out, yeah, I was just like, I was a schmuck. I was just like, yeah, I'm the best. And they're like, no, you're not. But like when I started out, like my model was be the most affordable guy on the block. And then the people that can't afford anything else will obviously go with you. So it was just kind of the model. I was working with people that no lawyer would have even touched anyway. So that's pretty much how we did it. You know what I mean? Now where we are now it's different. But back then I kind of just had to figure it out.
I'm grateful for those clients that hired me for fees that nobody would ever take, that gave me a chance for me to essentially learn and practice on them.
Yeah,
And
they took a
yeah,
shot on you. That's what I always tell. like up and comers. Like there's a lot of guys out of law school. They're like, I want to start my own practice. What do you think? I'm like, well, look, you're gonna be like, for lack of a better term, working with the bottom of the barrel for a while. But those people, like, they don't have an option, and you're the only option they have, right? Because they can't afford the big scatins of the world or the whatever the biggest tax guys are, right? So they're going to give you the shot, and just don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, don't make any mistakes. Don't break anything you can't fix, and you should be fine. Basically, that's what I tell them all the time. So, like, take your shots, don't say no to anything, figure out what you got to figure out. And that's pretty much how it works. But I mean, yeah, my whole practice was basically built off of just like figuring it out and then not knowing anything until I knew it. And that was it. So, I mean, that's just the way you build a business. That's the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
And we've talked about this before, even a few years ago, how attorneys in general, you guys have just clout just because you're an attorney. And I mean, and I said before the call, you always look amazing. You always make me look bad because you always look so much
I
better.
have to, man. If
And
it was me, if it was up to me, I'd be here in my underwear. Like I have to look good for. I talk to new people all the time. I'm the like the face of the firm. Like I'm the guy that talks to all like the clients and stuff and new people and things like that. So they expect a certain look, but I'm still relatively casual in how I do it. And I'm also like So my whole thing was is like if I believe if you're starting a business and you want to be successful, go to your top three competitors and read the 1-star reviews, and you will know everything you need to know about how to be better in your industry, right? So for me, when I started, I was like, why do people hate lawyers? They're expensive. They talk in circles. They charge you for every breath. Okay, cool. So if we do like flat fees, we don't charge for conversations, and we talk like human beings and not robots, we should be successful. And it just worked. You know what I mean? With a lawyer, when you talk to them, everything's like, it depends. I got to check. I got to come back to you. And I'll be like, look, George, technically speaking, you can't do this, but like off the record, you could do this. You know what I mean? Like you might be able to get away with this. And clients appreciate that because you're trying to get, especially startups. Startups are trying to get shit done. They don't want to hear like, no, 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 I can't. They like to be a good startup lawyer, you got to get away from like it can't be done and try like how can it get done? You know what I mean? Like Muhammad Ali, impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who are too comfortable in the situation. That's not the quote, but it's close to a quote. Like in my world, impossible doesn't exist. You have to be able to get shit done. Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to figure it out. Like me and the team, no matter what, we got to get it done. We like I have a rule here. It's called like whatever it takes. Like it's like whatever it takes to get the deal done, we have to get the deal done. Like I don't care. It's not an option, and that's it.
so there's this thing that I've been doing with all my employees. It's called a culture index test. And I'll send it to you later. I want you to take it. I already know how you're going to score. You're going to be just solid entrepreneur
Actually,
pattern.
I could use that.
It's very good for staff because attorneys, people that are going to sit through that many courses, classes, exams, and credits are very similar to people that do the same thing for the CPA. And these type of people are very technical, and they're the type of people that get stuck in details and stuck on what you cannot do rather than the kind of person that finds what you can do.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like, so I'm a severe like a personality hire when I do the team, and the reason my team isn't bigger than it is mainly because of that problem. So what I have found, and it is true, there is a severe generational splinter that happened, and it probably has a lot to do with COVID. Like between millennials and Gen Z, so millennials grew up on like Gary V hustle culture. Like we don't say die. Like for us, like it doesn't matter. We get shit done. But like Gen Z, and also like it has to do with parenting. And like don't come at me, people of the internet. It's just that like I feel like Gen Z was coddled a lot more than millennials were. Like millennials, we were kind of raised in like rougher environments. Like we were raised by boomers, and they just like they kind of they were a little more iron fisty than I guess the Gen Xers that raised the Gen Zs. Like so, for example, like I've had a bunch of interns that work for me, and like all their dads pay their rent. You know what I mean? And all their dads give them like allowances and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, that must be nice. I was like, I was fucking getting through law school on ramen noodles. Like I had absolutely no money. I couldn't have been more broke. And like for me, I had to make it. Like there was no other option. And like the generation now, like I mean, kudos to the parents for making it so easy and making it so safe. But I feel like you guys made it a little too safe to the point that the kids just like they don't have a oomph or a why. You know what I mean? Like I need someone here that is hungry. And anything under a millennial, like hunger is far few and in between. And I'm not shitting because there are very hardworking Gen Zs. I'm not saying you're all, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to be a boomer here, but I'm being very honest. Like I see people all the time, and I've seen people that have worked for me that like you could tell like I got to eat, and these other people are like, well, my dad's gonna get it. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like that shit just never gonna work. And that's the biggest problem I have as a hiring person is that like these people don't give a shit. Like they don't care. And I'm not saying you have to care. This isn't your law firm. I understand that. But like you not like I want people that want my job. Like I want to hire someone that wants to take me out. You're not gonna take me out, but I appreciate the challenge. Like I want someone that's coming for me, basically. You know what I mean? Like if I hire you, I want you to be like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Good, good, do that. You're never gonna, but just be the guy that wants to beat me. But for the most part, people are like, yeah, I don't even care, dude. Like, just give me my paycheck. I'm going home. I'm out of here. Close the laptop. Done. Not good. So that's the problem.
What's have the staff that you've been hiring, because I as kind of a younger firm, I would say any firm that's in professional
Well, I do
services
it
younger than
differently,
40
right?
years.
So I do it a bit differently because I don't really like wasting money anymore. So when I started hiring people, so I'm also a professor at my law school, New York Law School. I'm also a professor, so I have really good contacts there. So what I always did, and what worked for me for a while was I took people on as interns. And then I tried them out for like a year or two, and you get them basically on an intern salary, and you see how it is and how it goes. And if they're good, you keep them on through graduation and you hire them at graduation. And then they get their six-figure salary and everybody's happy. Cool. So back in 2022, it happened to be a busy year. And I'm like, okay, the intern thing's not working out. Let me just hire people. And now the problem with that is that whenever you hire someone, I mean, these are lawyers. They're in New York. It's a six-figure salary plus all this other shit that you got to give them, right? And like, if you suck, I'm going to know you suck in the first week. But I can't fire you for at least like a couple months because you just left another job. And I'm not going to be an asshole and be like, dude, you're horrible. You're never going to make it here. So I have to waste 2+ months of salary and stuff on someone who's never going to make it here. And I did that like with 3 different people in 2022. And I'm like, okay, I'm never doing this again. So I went back to my internship program. And now like we just got a new hire. Like she took the bar, she passed. She's been working with us for 2 years now as an intern. She'll probably be licensed by January, February, and she'll be full time, full pay. But that's great because she's already been with me for 2 years. I know she's good. I didn't have to spend a ton of money just to like try her out and see if she was good. So for me, it's better to, and all my primary people here all started as interns, grew into full-time employees. Like that's the only thing that's ever worked to me. People started as interns, they worked me for a year or two while they were in school. At graduation, they got their offer letter. Right after they got licensed, they got their full paycheck, and now they're happy as shit. That's what works for me better. It works better for me to hire interns, have them work for me as an intern. Let's see how this goes, kind of like a trial period. Obviously paid, but not paid as much as a lawyer would. And then if it works, boom, cool. Shift you right into the full time, and that's it. That's what works better for me, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. That's why growing my team is slower than I would prefer it to be, but it works better and it's rooted easier. That's how I do it.
And another thing I've noticed is when you hire somebody that's an experienced hire, they're coming in with all of the process issues that may not be ones that work at your company. Like
Yeah,
with me,
yeah. That's another problem with those hires. It's because yeah, they already have their ways and we it's like I rather people that kind of like came in as an intern and like adapted to the way we do things, not that you figured out like how to do it over at ABC Corp and now you want to bring it over here. It's like I don't care what you did at ABC Corp doesn't work here, but that's so like ingrained in you the same way like anyone that if they worked here for like 3 years they would be ingrained with the B law stuff, and you just can't take that to like a bigger, like it's never going to work. It's just, our culture, the way we do things is completely different around here, so it's never going to work. So yeah, that's the other thing I don't like, aside the fact that like it's not going to be a good fit because you don't know what we do or how we do it. It's not going to be a good culture fit because you have another culture already ingrained in you and it just doesn't work.
what's now that's largely one of the ways that I've been able to build my team is something similar. People that are either recent grads, recently took a license, are switching from another related career. And there's this kind of philosophy that taking people from another industry is actually really good for the firm because they're bringing a fresh perspective. They're also not being burdened with any of the baggage that you mentioned of, oh, we always did it this other way, which you might not like or might not fit with the firm or the process or the clients. What do you think about that? I mean, people coming from a completely different career.
I mean, look, it severely depends on how your practice is run. Like, so for us, like we're very laid back. Like we're very like off the cuff. We're very like not politically correct around here, I guess. So like it's severely a personality hire first. Cause like if you're one of those people that are like super offended by words, you're gonna die here. Like it's not gonna work for you, dude. Like you're gonna be like offended by every breath we take here. Like we say some of the craziest shit to each other. Like it's probably not even like legally appropriate. Some of the shit we say to each other, like it's so bad. But we have fun. You know what I mean? It's like a laughable, fun environment. It's just free flowing, shooting bullshit back and forth. So like it's severely with us, especially. It depends on every organization, but for us, we're like severely a personality hire first, and everything else could be learned. Like you can't learn a shitty person. Like if you're a shitty personality, like there's nothing you can do about that. It's just always going to be a shitty personality. But like it, if you have a good personality, you could probably learn how we do everything else around here. So for me, it's personality over skills every day of the week, and then we'll figure out the skills if you got them or not, and if you can get better at them, and that's it.
Do you still get a lot of your client outreach? Is it still a lot through referrals, like or
No, so
is
we
it
actually don't. We
through?
actually we actually don't get any referrals. So ours is strictly outbound. So we do a lot of advertisement on Meta. We're we're about to expand to email marketing just because I want to try it out. I never really liked email marketing, but I found a company that claims they could do some good stuff. So I'm going to take a shot and spend the money. I also want to expand to YouTube. We do a bunch of stuff on like social media and stuff for fun. But no, our clients mainly come from our marketing initiatives and stuff like that. And also it's easier for us to market. So like the thing is like depends on the industry, right? Like you're a CPA. Marketing for taxes is not sexy. You're not going to get like a lot of hits on that. But like we're a fundraising law firm. We have over 550 investors in our warm network. We host investor dinners, investor summits. So we're selling money. And money's always sexy. Like money you could sell every day of the week because like people are like, yeah, give me the money. I mean, we get a lot of bullshit leads because of that too, but we get a lot of like good leads and stuff like that. So our marketing works very effectively because we have a really good hook to what we do. It's like, hey, you need investors, come talk to us. And who doesn't need investors? You know what I mean? Like you're like tax filing, like who gives a shit about tax filing? Like no one's clicking on an ad for tax filing. You know what I mean? Like I got my tax guy. I don't need you. Like it doesn't matter. But even if you got a lawyer, your lawyer's not a fundraising lawyer. So haha, I gotcha. So you probably do need me. And that's how that works.
Yeah, that is definitely a good marketing pitch, and we say you know and I make jokes all the time. Is we're in taxes. It's kind of a real conversation stopper at a party. You kind of
Yeah,
try to
exactly. Like
not bring a
you're not getting the ladies with you, dude. Like no one cares about you show up to the party like the girls are not excited about the CPA at the party. That's fine. And but that is the truth. Like there's nothing sexy about tax. And like I know that like for example, my mentor, my guy, my CPA, my mentor, like his business is all referrals and it's always been referrals and that's it. But that's kind of how tax works. You know what I mean? You either have your guy and if you don't have your guy, you ask someone you trust like who's your tax guy? You know what I mean? Like I don't think people really like search online like best tax guy in the neighborhood. Like it just doesn't work that way. Taxing is all like even my guy was referred to me with my dad, but like it just that's how tax works. But for legal, I mean, legal's probably mainly referral too, but it's just that we're a very niche, very specialty law. So advertising works really well for us. But I would say that advertising probably doesn't work for everybody, even though it works to some degree. I don't think it works as well for like if you and I think you did advertising for a while too with the meta and stuff, but I don't think it would work as well for you as it works for me just because like who gives a shit? Like nobody cares. Like that's the whole problem.
exactly, exactly. And the that's one of the things that I always tell clients is most of them come in through referrals or through our network, and
Yeah.
so and it's
But
just one of these things where
you also acquire firms and stuff like that, right? Like that's part of your model. Like you acquire guys like my guy who's like 70 years old and should retire, but he's never going to because he's like me. He's crazy. He's going to work till 100. But like that's basically what you do. Like you go after guys that are like probably on their way out. That's one of your models, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, look, I don't have any kind of system, but if I overhear somebody that's looking to sell practice or I see one that happens to be on sale we will consider it.
Yeah, because I was actually thinking about doing that, like in like maybe another year or so, like acquiring law firms. It's just that like I don't know, like for me, like it seems difficult to acquire someone. Like if someone bought B Law, like they'd probably suck at it and lose all the clients. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how you do that because like people work with us because of us, you know what I mean? But if someone else came in here and you were them, like my clients would probably hate you. So like I don't know how you acquire, especially like for accountants and stuff. Like I know you acquire practices, but I don't know how. Like if someone acquired my guy, like I don't know if I'd like him. You know what I mean? Like if you bought out my account, I'm like I might not like you. Like I mean, like I don't know how the retention model would work or any of that stuff because it's weird. Like because with accountants and lawyers, it's like a personal relationship you have. You know what I mean? And once you take the personal out of it, like it's I don't know if it works. I don't know because I thought about buying up legal practices, but I don't know because if someone bought my practice, like my clients text me and they're like, "Hey, John, how you doing? I need help." Like, you're gonna just text Joe? Like, you might not like Joe. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. So I don't know. It's weird. I've thought about it, but I don't know. I just like thinking about it in practice how it would work. In theory, I understand it, but I don't understand it in practice.
Yeah, I know. I've texted you before at five something in the morning, and you
I
answer, and
don't
then
sleep.
the
I only
next
sleep 4 hours a night. So yeah, like
11 p.m. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know when you're gonna
The
get
next day at
anybody else.
11 p.m. I text you. You're still answering. I says this guy's not sleeping.
I don't sleep 4 hours a night. Sleep's a waste of time. No, so to get on that, not to sound like a weirdo, it's like there's these people that swear they have to sleep 8 hours a day. And I'm like, dude, that's a fucking third of your life. Like if you live to 100, right, you're only awake 66 years, right? The most I sleep is 5 hours a night, right? So if I live to 100, I'm awake 80 years, right? So I get 14 more years of productivity on you just by doing that. So you can't beat me. Like it's just mathematically impossible to win against someone like me. I have 14 more years of conscious activity than you do. You know what I mean? Like there's no way. Like you can't win. Like how do you beat somebody who's got 14 years on you just by shaving off 3 hours that you think you need? You know what I mean? And like my day is severely systematic, right? So for example, like I only sleep 5 hours a day. That's number one. Number two, my office is at the top of Wall Street. My condo is at the bottom of Wall Street. I don't commute, right? Most people waste 1 to 2 hours a day commuting. My commute is 3 minutes, right? That's number two. So I don't waste any time commuting. I follow intermittent fasting. I only eat one meal a day, right? So I eat my one meal a day, get on my calories. Some people take like a bunch of 30 to 60-minute breaks for food. I don't do that. So I buy back all my time for the day. So like the average person is wasting like 2 hours a day in commuting and they're wasting another 90 minutes to 2 hours a day in eating and all this other shit. Like you're burning through time in your day and I'm not. Like you're doing 8 hours of sleeping, I'm doing five. I got 3 hours on you there. You're doing 2 hours commuting, I'm doing 6 minutes commuting. I got 2 hours on you there. So I already got 5 more hours on you for the day. You're wasting an hour and a half a day eating. I'm eating in 30 minutes. So I just bought another hour back. So I already got an extra 6 hours a day on you just by doing that shit. Like we all got the same 24 hours. You have to find a way to make them work for you. So that's it. Like I'm answering emails at 1 a.m. Like you're still like by the time you get to the office, I've already been like I wake up between 1 and 3 a.m. every single day. That's I always wake up in that way. I never sleep later than 3 a.m. any day, even on the weekends, right? And I go to bed usually by somewhere between 9 and 10, right? Same time down, same time up every day, even on the weekends. So for me, like I'm already start like I mean, I go for a jog and I work out, so I work on my body too. Like every morning I go on a jog because I used to be a boxer, so I go on my jog every morning, clears my head. It's like my mental thing. My point is that if you start at 9 a.m., I've already been up and going for 8 hours. Like I already put in a whole workday by the time you started. If you sit down at your desk at 9 and start, I've been going since 1. I've already put in a whole workday, 8 hours. I put like a couple hours on my body, a bunch of hours in my business, and I've been here. Like I'm doing it, man. I'm cooking. Like it's not possible. Like you just like it's just like if you do all that, if you do everything I do, it would be impossible not to be successful at some point just because of the amount of volume, right? Like volume negates luck. Alex Hormozy, volume negates luck, right? Like you do so many reps to the point where it's impossible not to win. And that's it. That's the only way you could do it. Like anyone that says like, how do I be successful? Just don't stop and just do more to the point where it would be impossible not to make it. That's how you do it. Like everyone else
Also
quits, you
delete
just
also delete social media. I'd say delete social media and cancel all subscriptions to I'd say one thing that helps me is I think years ago, and I'm old, so I'm in my 40s. So years ago, they used to say the average American watches 4 hours of TV a day. I think that dropped with this generation that's more on the phones. So I'd say probably.
I don't watch TV. I consume like a lot of YouTube, but like the thing is like I consume YouTube and I watch like sales content. Like I watch like Alex Hormozy or Jeremy Miner and stuff like that. Like I watch things that like so for me like I do spend time on social media. I do spend a lot of time on YouTube, but like I don't really consume like leisure stuff. Like I watch like a lot of stuff like sales psychology and stuff like that. Stuff that like makes me better at what I do. So I do consume a lot. I do read some books now. I Audible. I listen to books and I read books, and I consume a lot of YouTube. But like a lot of the YouTube I consume, it's like a lot on like sales content and investing and strategy and stuff like that. Like it's always something to like kind of educate and move the ball forward. I'm not just sitting there watching like a TV show or something. I'm sitting there watching the Jersey Shore. I don't know, something like that. I'm watching stuff that like moves the ball forward.
So I have a few things that we need to touch base on after the call. We have to wrap up soon, but there's a few things that you and I want to speak about, like one on one. That's not in a public forum. One of them is going to be acquiring firms, and I have some experience and to share with you on that I think will help you. The other one is going to be the culture index test. I really want you to run it with prospective hires. It'll save you a lot of time,
Yeah,
and
I
it'll
do.
let
I
you
do.
know
I'm
exactly
actually
where
yeah,
you're
because
getting.
I'm about to. I just launched a thing to bring people in, so that would be very helpful because I've been trying to find a way to vet people forever. So yeah, send me that, please.
Yes, I'll send you that. It's really really good. And the other thing is, you mentioned sales and persuasion and psychology books that have to do with client psychology. This is not only for the sales and onboarding aspect, but for the entire client relationship and the client experience. I have some great ones for you. And the fourth one is a network that I'm in. And it's going to sound like a cult. It's not. It's just a business owner network that I want you. And it's not like the small one. It's for people that already have an established practice like you do. So I want to speak on that. So those four things that I'm going to mentally take a note of, and I'm going to ask Valeria, who's going to edit this video after, to take those out and remind us to chat about those maybe 15 minutes. I think it'll help both of us because I want to hear your experience too. And as a final wrap up, I want you to tell our audience who is the best, most ideal client for you so they know how to reach you, and also let them know how to best reach you. We will put your socials and your email and your phone number on there so you don't have to say those. But what's your preference? What's the client type, et cetera? Just go into that for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so as far as like, I mean, just to go on like sales psychology and stuff, like if you're starting out, there are four books that I think will give you everything you need to know about getting started. So Jordan Belfort's The Way of the Wolf will teach you how to sell anybody, anywhere, anything. That is a great book. It teaches you about the straight line, how to get that done. And Alex Hormozy's three books, $100 million offers, leads, and money models. Fucking really easy, really good to read, very like straight to the point and get shit done. Like if you're gonna read no other books, I would read those four books if you're starting a business. That's probably, in my opinion. And I've run like Never Split the Difference and Persuasion. I read all those books and stuff, and they're great. But like if you're like, I hated to read. I do it with Audible now. It's easier. Those four books are definitely like super valuable. Like I can't read without Audible. Like I literally cannot read a book. I have ADHD, OCD, I have all that stuff. I can't sit there and just read a book. Like I can't do it. Like I need to listen to the book while I read it. So if it doesn't have an Audible, I can't read the book. Thankfully, all four of those do. So I get those four books, 100%. And then there's a bunch of other books that are cool. But if you're starting a business, that's great. As far as me, like my greatest client is anyone who has a business. Like back in the day, it would be like you could be in your mom's basement, but with the team we have and the level the level that we play at now, like it would probably be best. Like first of all, you have to have a budget. Like you really can't come to me with no budget anymore. Back in the day, yeah, I would take anybody. I pats on the back. I just not in a position to do that anymore. It's too much of a team, too much overhead. So like you have to have a budget to work with us. That's number one. Number two, you have to have a business, not like a pipe dream anymore. Like I used to be part of the pipe dream a decade ago. Yeah, I was all pipe dream. It's just like we work with investors now. We work with like huge people. Like it's just, I can't give you the value. You know what I mean? So my ideal client would be anyone with a business that has a real business. If you have a business on a budget and you're not like crazy and you're not talking in like billions and trillions, cool. We could work together. But like if you're talking about you're going to be a billionaire, like dude, a million seconds is 11 days. A billion seconds is 33 years. you have no idea what you're talking about. Like you literally don't know what you don't grasp. You don't even know what a million is, let alone what a billion is. Like there's so many people that come to me. It's like, I have $1 billion idea. I'm like, no, you don't. There's like $15 billion ideas in the world for a reason because they're very, very difficult to come by. Maybe you have $1 million idea, but you don't have $1 billion idea. Unless I'm talking to the next Elon, and that's very, very rare that I am. So I say that when you talk to people, don't talk in outlandish because you sound stupid. Anyone that knows the difference between a million and a billion, you're going to sound stupid to them. Like they know you don't know what you're talking about. Stop saying. Like I had a guy. Hmm, wait, this is so funny. Calls my office and he got all pissy with me. Pre-revenue, pre-raise, pre-MVP. What's up, dude? I want to raise $15 billion. I'm like, all right, time out. First of all, Meta's biggest round before they went public was 1.5 billion. OpenAI raised like $40 billion because they're OpenAI, right? You don't even have a company. You know how stupid you sound when you say you want to raise $15 billion? Like, let's start. Like, I want to raise $1 million. $15 billion. Like, are you out of your mind? That's like 450 years of seconds you want to raise. Like, you realize what you're talking about. Like, it's just not making sense. So that would be my advice to people. Like, get away from the word billion because you sound insane. Stop saying that. Please, people, please. That's my advice. But yeah, anyone with a budget and a business that that you got it. We could raise money for you. We could kick ass for you. We're the best law firm in the city, and I will stand behind that and go to toe to toe to anybody. We're the most down to earth, reasonable people that just get shit done. We get back to you. You could text us. We get back to you within a couple days, not a couple weeks, and we shoot the score, and that's it. We're trying to build those long term relationships. That's how it works. Looking for a 5 to 10 year relationship out of all of our clients. That's how we got.
Awesome. And so for anybody who's watching, we're going to conclude now, but we'll post information. You'll see it below this video of how to get a hold of John. And John is licensed in New Jersey and New York. But as he said, for many
We have
things that are
clients all over the
federal, he
world.
can do
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
It's we don't litigate. We're just transactional. I have clients in all over the world: India, Israel, Italy, Spain, everywhere, and all over the country and all the major states. So yeah, wherever you are,
Exactly.
let's
And
talk.
we're the exact same way as a CPA firm. We have full mobility in all 50 states, and we have clients right now. Looked at the client list last year, we had 49 states. Well,
Yeah, good
that's not to
stuff.
say we have 1,000 clients in every state, but we have at
Yeah, no,
least
no, but
one.
I've touched all the major states. Like I don't know if I got anybody in Kansas or Kentucky, but if you're in like what Miami, California, Texas, New York, something like that, yeah, hit us up. We'll hook it up.
Oh, Kansas has some big businesses. We'll talk
Honestly,
later
I don't know. I know.
about a few. Yeah.
I gotta say, good stuff.
Okay, awesome to have you on the show, John.
All right, guys, thanks. Appreciate it.